Okay, so on this one, they're giving us this function. I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm actually going to make it x instead of t. It's the same thing, and my t's end up looking like plus signs. When I'm done, I'll type in the answer with t, or you can. But I'm going to use x along the way because it's just easier for me to see x. My t's look like plus signs. All right, so we got to take the derivative, f prime of x. Okay, how do we do it? Well, notice how this big old parentheses multiplied by that parentheses. So the overall structure is they are multiplied by each other. And you might think it'd be wrong. You can tell by my tone it's wrong. You can just take the derivative of each part. Like this is just 2x and this is just 7. And then you just do this guy. It's just 10x and there you go. And that's wrong. That's not correct. You can't just take the derivative of this piece, take the derivative of that piece. It's all good. It's done. It's actually not right. It's not true. You can't do that. What's the rule? Well, when you have so if you have, let me write the rules up here for you. If you have 2x 2x terms added or subtracted, then that's it's easy. Just take, yeah, I'll say just take the derivative of each term of each term. It's easy. That's in that case, okay, but we don't have that. Instead, when you have two x terms multiply. That's what we have. We have that big old x term, big old x term multiply. In that case, you must, you must use what's called the product rule. Product means multiplication. The product rule. What's the product rule? Well, if you have, let's say, call it f times g. Um, let's do it this way. The derivative f multiplied by g. Let's say they're both functions of x. They both have x. The derivative, you take the derivative of the first one times the second one, no derivative, plus the first one, no derivative, times the second. They take turns, in other words. The f prime goes first, and then it's the g prime's turn. That's how you take the derivative of two functions of x that are multiplied. Is that making sense? So again, if you have two x terms, two, let's, in fact, instead of x terms, I should say two, yeah, I didn't say that very well. Let me say that better. I don't like what I said. Two functions of x. That's what I should have said. Two, yeah, I should just write it out. If you just have f plus g and you want to take the derivative, it's real easy. Just take the derivative of the first one, derivative of the second one, you're done. Whereas if you have two functions multiplied, you can't just do, you might think it's just do the first one, do the second one, but it's not. It's this whole special thing called the product rule, where the f goes first, the g stays the same, then the f stays the same, and the g has his derivative term. You take turns. So here we go. This is multiplied. If there was just a big plus sign in the middle here, then it would be no big deal. I would just take the derivative of this one, take the derivative of that one, who cares? But no, it's not. All right. So first, they're going to take turns. So this guy's first. I'm going to take his derivative. So what's the derivative of that? It's going to be 2x, right? Because the 2 comes down. Subtract 1 for that's 2x to the 1. This has a 1 power. That comes on down. So that's 7. Subtract 1 from the power. X there. What's the derivative of just a plain straight number that doesn't have an x? 0. So that's his times the second one unchanged. Yeah, I should probably get this out of the way. Sorry, I just keep changing my mind on where to write these rules. So here we go. So whereas if you have times G prime is F prime G plus FG prime. Different rules there. All right. Anyway, keep going. Plus, okay. So we did him first. It was his derivative term. Now he's just a spectator. And it's the second one's turn to have his derivative. What's his derivative? What's the derivative of 5x squared? 2 goes down. That'd be 10x. Subtract 1 from the power. 10x to the 1. What about the 2? That's 0, right? The derivative of a plane number that doesn't have an x is 0. Oops, I didn't do that very clearly. There we go. We're not done completely yet. We're going to do a little more cleanup. But see what happened. They took turns. Just like this rule says, if you have two functions multiplied with the derivative, the first one goes first, the second one stays the same, then the first one stays the same, and the second one's turn. So I did the first one here. And so now let's clean that up. So that's 2x. And that's just going to be 7, isn't it? Because x to the 0 is just 1, and the 0 is just gone. So 5x squared plus 2 plus, then the second one's, what's that? That's x squared 7x plus 3. And what's the second one? Just 10x. That 0 is gone. And so that's it. That's our answer. We're done. And that's what they have here, except they put it back in t. So you could change it back to t. But you shouldn't. Well, it's not going to take it. You don't change it back to t. But there we go. So remember, if you have two functions added or subtracted, same thing for subtracting. Subtracting, it would just be minus. Who cares? So if you have two functions added or subtracted, just take the derivative of each one separately. Who cares? But if you have two functions multiplied, you can't just do each one separately. You have to do this whole special thing called the product rule. Um, and yeah, let me write that in again. This is called the product. Product means multiplication. The multiplication rule. And that is they take turns. F prime goes first, and then G prime goes. And the other function just sits next to it. So there we go. Oh, we did the second part, did we? Aha. Hold on. F prime of 5. Yeah, so then once you got all that, then you got to plug in. I'm almost skipping it. F prime of 5. Now just stick in a 5. 2, right there for x. 2 times 5 plus 7. And this would be 5 times 5 squared plus 2. Just sticking in a 5 everywhere here. 5 squared plus 7 times 5 plus 3. And 10 times 5. Oops, got a little scribbly there at the end. All right, it's just the 5. I just kept plugging in the 5 for all these x's. And really, you can just hit the buttons on Desmos, or I'll do some of this by hand. 10 plus 7. This is 125 plus 2. Just type it into Desmos. 25 plus 35 plus 3. Boom, boom, boom. This is 50. And again, just type it into Desmos, but I'll keep going. 17 times 127 plus, what's that? 50, 63, I think. No, that's, yeah, that is right. Times 50. And that's as far as I can go by hand. Just hit the buttons. I guess you'll get 5309. And so there we go. So it's all about the product. There we go.